What's up, guys? I forgot to turn the music on. This is already great. There we are. There we are. So soothing. So nice. So lovely. Yeah, Cheshire, Sue, and Stilly. I don't think I'm missing anyone for the sippies. Let's have that drink together. 1, 2, 3. Extra big Stilly's sippies since Sue redeemed the sip coffee. Thank you for that, Pat. And there's not much to be proud of, but thanks. Proud of you too. Immediate tingles. Yo. Sure, lady. One hand here, the other here. Enjoy the work, Cheshire. Until my deep cleaning and discover that someone has been pebbling me bugs for my collection. What does that even mean? But what's up, Stilly? So I have some stories here. I don't know how long today's stream's gonna be, but yeah. We'll start with the shortest first, which this one's very short. We didn't stream at our normal time today because I got caught up writing a cover song. Yeah, it was fun, but I'll show it after stream or like before ending. So just a little warning if you're coming here to sleep that I'm gonna keep the volume down to an extent. But it's an old metal song that I used to listen to a lot, and seemed like a good idea to cover it today for no reason. Okay. This first one is titled, I've Been Praying for the Smell to Go Away. Hello, everyone. My name is Cheryl. I am 71 years old and live in a small rural town in Montana. I posted this in our DIY last week, but they recommended I post here instead. Every October, my house is filled with the most disgusting, rotten smell, and I get a lot of flies. I can smell it on both floors, and it makes me want to vomit. It seems like it's coming from under the sink, but bleaching didn't help at all. Sometimes it's so thick I can taste it, like I'm being suffocated by a dirty rag. It clings to my hair and clothes. People at church have begun to look at me strangely. I called my son and he said it could be a dead animal or rotten food, but I don't think it is. The smell only lasts a week. Usually starts around halfway through the month and ends just after November begins. Also, it doesn't only smell like something rotten. Sometimes it reminds me of my curling iron, like the steam that comes off my hair when I leave it in place for too long. My son told me to check something called the P-traps under the sink, but I don't know how. My husband used to do all the repairs around the house. He used to do all the repairs for the church too, even though he was the pastor. He passed away a year ago from COVID, and said he couldn't smell it. It bothered me even before he got sick. He said it was all in my head. I remember the first time it came. It went quiet that night and wouldn't let me open the bathroom door. It was strange that he couldn't smell it. He could still taste my cooking enough to complain, but the doctor says sometimes that happens with COVID. I tried to follow a YouTube video on how to open bee traps, but water got everywhere. I had to use my nice towels to clean it up. They're ruined now because they got an oily black stain on them that won't wash out, no matter how many times I run them through the machine. My son lives several states away, so he can't come check the pipes for me. He refuses to visit ever since he got in an argument with my husband about what happened to that neighborhood boy. My husband did some things that I'm not proud of, but God is forgiving. Still, sometimes when the house settles at night, I think I can hear the boy's delighted screams when he played in the church's halls. I called a plumber, but he's booked out until late November and the smell will be gone by then. I opened the windows and lit candles to hide the smell, but no one visits anymore. I miss the company. The church ladies used to stop by after I fell last year, but I think the smell drove them off. There's a bathroom connected to my late husband's office. The drain in there hasn't drained right for several years, no matter how much my husband used to plunge it. I don't go in there often, so when I did last year, the smell was very strong. I started feeling sick and dizzy. Then I tripped on the rug on the way out of the bathroom. I broke my hip and haven't been up there since. The smell started up again yesterday, and I swear it's stronger than it was last year. It settles in my throat and stings my lungs. I can hardly breathe without feeling sick. Also, when I went to the bathroom last night, the cabinets were warm. The pipes beneath were so hot I didn't dare touch them. The water came out boiling from the tap so hot it steamed and hissed against the sink. Thought of hell when I saw it. I'm not sure what to do. If you have any advice on what it could be or what I should do, please reply. My house is from the 1800s, if it helps. I've been praying the smell will go away, but maybe it's not supposed to. What if God is punishing me? Okay. This next one is, I worked at this morgue for years. Nothing prepared me for what came through this week. Yeah, I don't know, Stilly. I have no clue. I think the husband did something weird, but I don't really see how that's on her. I swear I think some of these are written by AI. I don't know. I'm confident we've at least gotten one that has. It was horrible. It was the worst. Maybe he killed someone and it's a ghost. Yeah. Something. He did something fucky. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I could see it. Yeah, it's all his fault. That guy. I've worked at a morgue in a restricted facility for 4 years now. I can't tell you where. It's classified, and honestly, I wish I didn't know either. We don't get normal cases. Sometimes the bodies come sealed in double layers, tags replaced with alphanumeric strings instead of names. We're trained not to ask. Earlier this week, we received a body that, as I'd have to say, broke every rule of what I thought was possible. It was something hard for me to fathom, but the senior pathologist, I'll call him M, didn't know how to process it either. The body, Mel, late 20s, no visible injuries, no signs of decay, no rigor mortis either, which was strange. The skin was cold to the touch, but soft. Rather too soft. Vitals? autopsy was scheduled for 0 hours. We placed him in locker C7, cleaned our tools, and logged the intake. That was it. Except the locker door didn't frost over like dozens of others. It stayed clean and warm. We had an old landline on the far wall. We used to call our other departments down the corridor, say maintenance, logistics, security, and then most of our night shifts, and in cases which were deemed urgent or special care, like this one, I'd almost never ring. About 20 minutes in, after locking C7, the phone screamed. Yeah, screamed. It didn't ring. It broke out into a jagged electric wail like modem noise. I remember Em and I staring at it, expecting it to stop. When the tone shifted dramatically, started coming in bursts. Short and long, repeating. Almost rhythmic. I personally tried picking it up, but there was no receiver on the other end. Morse code, Em joked. We broke into uneasy laughter, and the sound didn't stop. It died for a while and come back louder, noisier. The pattern was irregular initially, but it grew tighter like a heart learning to beat again. To keep in check for any incidents that were to follow, I started recording it on my phone. We hadn't brought out the body for inspection yet. Just before we began, around midnight, I stepped out to the washroom to ensure I wasn't going to contaminate the subject. The phone hadn't died. Kept beeping, making that terrible sound. We thought better of jolting it out of the wall since that would be against protocol. The air felt colder than usual, static like it was crawling up arms. The lights flickered. Once. Twice. The darkness. I heard the phone still beeping erratically in that rhythm, echoing down the hall. Then came a scream. A human scream, followed by several metallic thuds and groans like a distant commotion. I ran back in. Em was on the floor, convulsing, clutching his throat. A scalpel lay beside him, his white coat blooming red from his chest. He tried to point to an upper corner of the room, gasping something that sounded like behind, before his hand dropped. The power had died completely, but the phone hadn't stopped. In the darkness, I saw several dark lines of crimson liquid creeping from locker C7. It was left ajar, the metal almost torn. The locker door was hanging open, empty. I grabbed my torch and the emergency radio, stumbling towards the backup generator in the dark room. I always smelled wrong, like copper and wet meat. The corridors were streaked red, finger marks smeared along the walls like something had been crawling. I could hear wet footsteps behind me, soft, irregular. The flashlight caught quick glimpses. A pale hand disappearing behind a corner, the glint of eyes reflecting the beam. Then, near the generator, I found him. The body, the thing, curled up in a fetal position, smeared in blood like it had been bathing in it. Its eyes were open but not seeing. They shone, catching my light in a way no dead eyes ever could. I was shaking, small, violent tremors. The sound coming from his throat wasn't breathing, it was clicking like the start of another code. It pulsated as the beeps from the phone catched with its bodily rhythm, like a beating heart fit into a pale corpse. Backed away in disgust, tripped and hit my shoulder on the wall. The flashlight spun out of my hand. It looked straight up at me, eyes staring from narrow slits, and lunged. It hit me hard, cold fingers digging into my chest. Felt something tear into my shoulder, razor sharp like broken glass. The beeps from the phone grew more frantic. It slammed his head hard against the wall, and all of a sudden it collapsed like a puppet. For a second, it twitched, but it finally died with the phone's beeps as they faded out. Or so I like to think. I reported the incident to security. They reviewed the surveillance footage nonchalantly. "We should have let you know what you were dealing with," they remarked. They ultimately sealed locker C7, scrubbed it clean, took care of the body with an incineration order. But now I doubt why I was brought here in the first place. I tried decoding the landline's beeps I recorded on my phone. I triple-checked it. Definitely reads like a message. I haven't had much luck, but here's the only meaningful phrase I could place. "Let me out." Boom, boom. What's up, Judah? How you doing today, buddy? Agent 47. Okay, alright. And Eomi. Eomi. What's up, Biani? Gives Russian sleep experiment photo vibes? A little bit. Do I have a favorite story that sticks in your mind? That's a good one. That's a good question. It depends on the day. For creepypastas, my favorite one ever written, that I ever heard, narrated by Otis Chiri, was Psychosis by Matt Demirsky. That one stuck with me. I love psychological horror because I got a silly little brain, so psychological horror, it hits at points. There was one that I read that was something to do with space. I don't remember a lot about it, but the impression, I don't even remember the name of it, but it was extremely well written, very good. There's been a couple. Nothing else really comes to mind. The one I read last night to Sue was that was actually a really, really good one that I wish I would have saved for this. But it's very long, but it was also very, very good. It had a silly name. The main character, or like the main villain, I guess, reminded me a bit of what's it called? I don't know. From Fear and Hunger, Pocket Cat or something. Mr. Pollywag. Save it for later. I don't want to read it again. Yeah, Fear Pandemic. Yeah, it's a pre-made model. Thank you. Yumi here is working on our very own model, so we will be a doppelganger no more in a matter of time, in an unspecified amount of time. But welcome in. I love psychological horror, the Necker Boy said calmly. Yeah, it's the best. Slasher stuff is pretty good. Like, I used to love it when I was younger, but it's not my thing anymore. I don't really, this is like the only horror that I ingest anymore. I used to love it, but I don't know. For the ones you read here, I think mine's the one about the 24/7 diner off the highway And a weird 1950s family comes in and they all order milk. I remember that one. It's just vaguely though. I like the trucker stories, but we can't read those anymore, unfortunately. You know them? I don't. I just know that this is a pre-made model as I am using it. So if he has one that looks like literally like this, but dressed in black or something, it's yeah. But it's cool. We gotta start somewhere. Models are expensive, so if you can go on Booth or Etsy, or make your own in Beoroid, or just if you know how to art and rig, make your own. It's pretty cool. But for those of us that can't, and aren't flush with cash, pre-mades, baby. We can't read those anymore. Yeah, we can't read the highway ones anymore, which sucks, but it makes sense too. It's their right to post it and tell people that they're not allowed to read it, I guess. Do I sound bitter about it? A little bit, but it was good writing, and they do have that right. I respect that, which is why I'm not going to read it, despite wanting to. I'm not even going to finish it for myself, because I'm petty, because I'm spiteful. It doesn't affect them at all. If anything, it affects me. Ah. 10-hour coding studying session sounds like the worst. My brain can't do that. But yours can, so congratulations. And hopefully you're able to relax and get some sleep. We have another short one here, titled, "If you find a firework called Skullbusters, get rid of it immediately." I don't understand this new thing with Halloween fireworks. It's obviously firework companies trying to clear out excess inventory. Take a fountain with Uncle Sam, throw a new label on it with a witch, and boom, it's for Halloween now. I also don't think it's smart to have fireworks around children wearing flammable costumes. This was just a mild gripe to me until my daughter brought home a skullbuster. It was a few days before Halloween. My wife and I were in the process of decorating the lawn when Mike came home holding something strange. "Daddy, look what I got." She held it out to us. It looked like a skull-shaped popper. My wife asked the question first. "Where did you get this?" My daughter responded matter-of-factly. "A man was giving them out." Parental instinct took over and I snatched it from her hands. She was visibly upset, explaining she should never take things from strangers because they can be dangerous. Didn't make her feel better, but the promise of ice cream did make up for it. My wife took her out for said ice cream. I looked over the strange popper and found it was called Skullbuster. And at the bottom of it was a string. I went out to the backyard, aimed it away from myself, and pulled the string. I heard it pop and then nothing happened. I was honestly disappointed that it was a dud. At least I was till I got a phone call from the mom of one of my daughter's friends. "Did Lane come home with a skull-shaped firework?" "Yeah." I took it from her. "Well, don't pop it. There's something wrong with him. Charles has had to rush Gina to the hospital." That was the first of several calls I got from Lainey's friends, parents, the ones I didn't get a phone call from. Most likely called 911 because the ambulance sirens didn't stop for the rest of the night. I decided to try to look into this on my own. I didn't expect a lot of headlines to call them by their product name, so I searched multiple news sites, along with Facebook groups and even tweets talking about firework accidents. From there, I put together a list of every known surprise, from popping a skull buster. 34 instances of bugs exploding out of and biting whoever was holding the popper. Insects range from fire and bullet ants to scorpions and even black widow spiders. 26 instances of caustic liquids bursting out. These range from drain cleaners to bleach to even sulfuric acid. These were reportedly stored in glass vials that would burst when it was popped. 14 instances of projectiles that fired when the popper went off. Projectiles range from broken glass, thumbtacks, and rusty nails. One article described a little girl accidentally firing a rusted nail into her father's neck. 10 instances of the poppers being filled with gunpowder. And 3 instances of poppers releasing toxic gas. I remember the skull buster we left in the backyard after it didn't go off. After it didn't go off, I looked out to my backyard and was horrified by the sight. In roughly a 10-foot area where the skull buster had been dropped, all of the grass was dead, as were any birds that had flown through, and a squirrel that was curious about the popper. So, this is a warning. If your child brings you a skull-shaped popper called a skull buster, get it away from them immediately. And for God's sake, don't pop it. Boom, boom. Okay, you get some good sleep. There's the Halloween poppers that have been sitting on my shelf for at least a year. Oh no. What time is it? I think today's gonna be a fairly short stream. I do have a headache. I spent all day riding. My eyes are sore. And I want to sleep. So, this may be the last story, but I will show the metal song. Ooh, the song cover that we did, that I spent the whole day doing. The only thing I didn't do on it was the drums. As you know, I do have an electric kit to my left, a hybrid, but I can't do metal drums, and I hate tracking them, even if I can play easy stuff. I'm not doing it. I'll just rip it from YouTube and never monetize it. Ooh. Let me drink some water. Okay. This one is titled I worked for a moving company and had a weird experience at a client's home. I work for a medium-sized moving company in Nashville, Tennessee. It's a cool job, hard but satisfying. I haven't had to pay for a gym membership in years. After 6 years, I can say I've seen just about everything, and yeah, I've seen that twice. And those things more times than I can count. For most people, moving day is one of the most miserable experiences imaginable. Since it's my job, I'm used to it, and may be a little crazy for doing one of life's most stressful tasks every day. After a while, all the moves started to blur together. Every living room has the biggest sofa and rug in the house, but no one ever cleans under the bed before we take it apart. And as cute as your bed is, please keep it out of the way so I don't trip and break your furniture, or myself. The jobs I remember the best are the ones where we get big tips, and, of course, the first job where you have no choice but to use either the client's bathroom for, well, you know. But there was one job this past summer that I can't stop thinking about. I'm the only guy from that crew still working here. Marcus and Jeremy quit the next day. It was supposed to be a simple one-day load and unload in South Nashville. Whenever I see a South Nashville job, I try to get Marcus and Jeremy on my team. The three of us worked like a machine, and South Nashville means expensive houses, expensive furniture, and generous clients. And one of my A-team. I stood at the end of a long driveway, tucked off the road. You couldn't see it from Google Street View, so we couldn't scope it out. Usually I recognize at least one house on any street I go down. Someone I moved before, but this driveway, I swear I'd never noticed it. When we pulled up, the owner was already waiting on the porch. An elderly woman, maybe late 70s. Short gray hair. Floral dress that looked like something from the 60s. It was a big, wide house. Old wooden porch with rocking chairs, and inside, all the furniture was very traditional. She was sweet but stern. That's fine with me. I like to do a quick walkthrough when get to work. Jeremy is more of the client chatter. And during our pre-move walkthrough, she mentioned the armoire was built by my late husband. He surprised me with it while I was out of town. I'm afraid it may be too big and heavy to move. As much as I love it, I understand if you're unable to get it if it's too heavy. Movers have a bit of an ego, and we're all a bit crazy. Telling us something is too heavy might as well be daring us to move it. The armoire was a beast, solid wood, all one piece. Probably 600 pounds easy. It sat against the far wall of an office-type room. And now that I think about it, the ceiling in that room was taller than the rest of the house. Marcus and I were the muscle that day. Jeremy handled the dollies and tools. I joked to Marcus loud enough for the client to hear and ease her nerves. We've moved worse. We know if we got this, a big tip was coming our way. We strained to lean it forward so Jeremy could slide the dolly underneath. It made a sound that no mover likes to hear. Splintering wood and cracking paint. Well, there goes our tip. We got it off the wall and it smelled hit us old, musty, mothbally. Behind it, we saw a door. The house was old but well maintained. This door, though, it looked ancient, like something out of a different century. Oversized, probably 100 pounds, with paint so cracked it was chipping off. No knob, just a hole where one used to be. Probably so the armoire could sit flush against the wall. The white paint was flaking off to reveal dark, almost black wood underneath. The wall surrounding it wasn't even finished, just rough, splintered planks. Without taking my eyes off the door, I asked, "Ma'am, did you know there was a door behind here?" We turned around to see her reaction, but she wasn't there. Then Jeremy went to look for her while Marcus and I examined the door. After a few moments, Jeremy came back. "She's gone," he said. "Car's not in the driveway either." That wasn't totally weird. Sometimes clients leave to go grab lunch or run errands, though they usually tell us first. We figured that she'd be back soon. Marcus and I stared at each other. Curiosity got the better of us. He stuck a screwdriver in the hole, twisted, and the latch gave. The door creaked open. The smell grew stronger. What we saw on the other side didn't make sense. It was the same room, the same office we were just in, except everything we had packed into boxes was back in its place. The same furniture, the same rugs. It was like we had never started the job. And everything was flipped, mirrored. Marcus went pale. What the hell? I took a step forward into the room. Then the owner walked in from the mirrored kitchen. Or at least I thought it was her. She looked the same but slightly off. Her hair was darker, she walked with a limp, and her smile was too wide, stretched at the corners. "Hey," she said brightly, like we were old friends. "You ready for lunch?" Marcus stammered. We were just talking to you in the other room. We thought you left." She blinked. "Other room?" I said. "Yeah, that room behind the armoire. This house, but different." She smiled faintly. "Oh, that old thing? You can't move it. The man who built this house built it into the wall. I've always hated it." We looked at each other, uneasy. I turned around to go back through the doorway, but the armoire was back, standing perfectly flush against the wall like it had never been moved. "Ma'am," I said, "what's going on?" She tilted her head. "Are you ready for lunch?" The air felt wrong. Too still. Too heavy. The smell hung thick and sour, like rot. Marcus whispered, "We need to get out of here." "Ma'am, we're just going to go back to grab a few supplies from the truck," I said. We hustled down the hallway toward the front door, but something was off. The hallway seemed longer. The angles of the walls weren't right. Subtle curves, slants that made you dizzy. The floor felt uneven, like it was shifting under us. When we reached where the front door should have been, it wasn't there. The hallway just kept going. Jeremy said quietly, "Guys, the house is mirrored the door we came in through. It's on the other side." We turned and ran the other way, weaving through the warped halls. The air grew colder. Finally, we burst into a room that mirrored the office, the armoire standing on the opposite wall. We didn't hesitate. We pulled it until it fell over. When it hit the floor, it broke apart like old rotten wood. The door was there again. We pushed through it and walked back into the same house. Dust hung in the air. The windows were cracked, streaked with grime. The wallpaper peeled from the walls. The air was cold, stale. The furniture, the glassware, the rugs, everything was coated in decades of dust. I called out, "Hello?" No answer. Marcus turned to me, pal. "Get to the truck. Let's get the hell out of here." I opened the front door. The yard was overgrown, the trees thicker, like years had passed. Our truck was still parked in the same spot, shiny and out of place. The house behind it looked like something from another century. We didn't say a word. We got in and drove away. When we hit the main road, our phones lit up with service again. We called our manager. He didn't believe us until Marcus and Jeremy both quit the next day. Told me to take the rest of the week off. Unfortunately, in this industry, when you're inside multiple homes every single day, strange things happen. This wasn't my only weird experience. just the one that still doesn't make sense. Bum, bum. Okay. And it was a very, very short little session. Um, but before we end stream, I wanted to make sure I did something today. Since I was a little bit late, a little bit behind. If you do follow the gaming channel, more than likely playing with Aggie. But I'll let you guys decide what you want how you want to end. Do you want to hear, if you haven't heard it yet, do you want to hear the cover song that I did? Or save that for another stream? We can do a little poll. There's gonna be 3 options. Do it for 3 minutes. You down? Okay. Sorting through your crystal. You're a crystal girl, huh? Hey. Let me see if I have any jobs. I will not do them today if I do. It's just a goblin that likes shiny and weird. One of my girls collects rocks. She has a nice rock collection. It's really cute getting to see her go through it or talk about it occasionally. It's pretty cool. Also, Sisu 2, Road to Revenge is coming out. So, for anyone that's seen that, and yeah, private server, it's gonna be, it's a Christmas tradition. No, Sisu 1. But, hopefully the second one comes out along, or around the same time, or at least before Christmas. And, yeah, we get to do a 4-hour violent Christmas movie time. That's pretty cool. That's pretty nice. You have this pile of crystals you mined years ago that have just been sitting around. Fair. Plucking all the points that have been broken off and putting them in a cup. I don't know why I'm imagining you like pouring hot water in there, just kind of mixing it up a little bit and drinking it all down. F. Maybe moon water? Ayo? I ain't afraid of no moons. I ain't afraid of no ghosts. Makes me think of the guy that stole moon rocks. Eh? From NASA? Would that be you? Would that be you, Sue? True story. No, I believe you. You wish. Okay. No, that's a rock that's hard to get. Can't blame him. Okay, so we're gonna do the cover song since you guys are kind enough to express interest in it. That's nothing special, but it's like one of the songs I used to listen to a lot as a teenager. Monomarth, if anyone's familiar, old like I don't know, Viking rock. Huh. Let me make sure it's not Not too loud. Turn the volume down here, maybe. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I spent all morning doing. Yeah, it is. It is my favorite ASMR as well. Black metal. Go to sleep to it every time. More than moon rocks. Oh my! Thank you very much. So, But yeah, that's where we're gonna end it for today. Um, yeah, appreciate you guys coming out. Thanks for listening to my adequate cover and the kind words. But yeah, you guys take care, and I imagine I'll be here at our normal time around 9 a.m. EST. But yeah, again, if you follow the gaming channel, probably be there tonight at some point playing Monster Hunter, I imagine. Depends on what Aggie wants to do. Take care, and I'll see you in the morning. Bye bye.